it's still, you know, explore. People know what they're doing here at this point. And speaking of knowing what they're doing, getting rid of Maverick, an operator that is so formidable on this map, can really do a lot of damage, but having him gone, I think that's a great ban for anybody.
Yeah, Maverick's one of those operators which, sure, he's good in the right scenarios, but only if you manage to get him in those right scenarios. Still, whenever he pulls out that blowtorch, he is still very weak at a point where he does not have a gun, he cannot shoot back. You can even try and peek the holes that were made by the Maverick. We've seen that time and time again. That's where teams have really adapted and has caught on the way that Maverick is being played, and that's more kind of a lone kind of Slayer type. He'd be by himself, he'd try and push in and just make a little hole that you cannot hear, and all of a sudden you're dead from something you didn't even know was happening to you. Yeah,
and you said it right. It's, you know, he's situational, right? It's only in certain spots where he could be useful. The problem with Villa is that there's so many spots where he's useful, and that's so many walls. That's why he's so often banned here. But the other bans, we saw Dokkaebi and Echo, and finally Pulse. And this is another thing we were talking about. It kind of ties into Maverick. Pulse being banned is very much, again, situational. Certain maps, you really don't want him in play. And I think this is definitely one of them. So both bans here from Market. Again, situational. MnM's bans, I think, a little bit more standard. Dokkaebi and Echo, that makes sense anywhere.
Yeah, Dokkaebi has been that fill-in for the Lion, which typically was that kind of spot, which you always had to ban Lion, not anymore because he is in quarantine. He cannot be played. He is perma-banned. Looking at the Pulse, like you said, very strong on maps that have that vertical destruction, and certainly for a map which has so many wooden floors, you know, Villa, all it has is wood, and that can really be big for Pulses who want to try and play that situational role. You can try and go for late rotates down the numerous staircases that you have. You could even start all the way in the basement, which is an area that attackers never attack. You never go down to the basement because it's just too much work.
Yeah. You know what, it is sad to say, but the basement is pretty much, I mean, it's no man's land, not because of the bombs and the explosions, but because just nobody goes there. It's we'll see from time to time a deep roam to try and rotate, and it's basically a highway for the defenders. But very rarely will it see any action in the basement. Now, it's going to be an Aviator and game room for the first bomb site here from Market. Pretty standard first bomb site.
So they do have the Mira available. She actually managed to slip her way in, an operator which does have that highest ban rate in terms of all of the defenders, and it's a bit of a shock that we're actually letting her being played. You know, they did have the option to, you know, let the Echo free, which both of these teams, they have capable Echo players. MnM can play it. We know that back at Brian, he's done some pretty good work with the Echo. They played Villa in Pro League before, and he's played that Echo role pretty well. I remember he used the red dot sight, which was something that we don't see all too often, and he really kind of made that his own thing in many circumstances. However, MnM, they do have a way to deal with the Mira windows. Habana is going to be that biggest counter. They're not bringing too hard breach, which is a bit of a surprise for me, because there is so much of that destructible walls that you did mention where Maverick is so strong. You know, he can open up that entire L quad wall area, and then that just gives you a free push into the bomb site.
Yep. Now, it is going to be a focus for MnM, I'm sure. Starting off with Study, though. And they've not really managed to make much headway. As you can see, we do have a roamer from Market on 90, and that's going to be KS. He's in a good position. Rips is going to take down Doki as he attempts to peek wide into the B bomb site. Great positioning from Rips as well, finding that aggressive angle that's hard to really monitor, and establishing a lead early on for his team.
Still Chaos inside of 90 has that Aldi can put down a lot of rounds per minute. Funker's seeing if he can find anybody inside the bomb site, but a couple of kills happen as Corey picks up one before Nello. He manages to find Rips. He did eliminate Doki earlier on inside of the round. This is where the final bit of beachheading will be used by MnM. A minute to go and Market, well, they do have the goo mine still available, which could cause a bit of nuisance to the players of MnM, and of course, KS still lurking inside of 90. He can maybe try and push up and start getting the pre-fires on with that LMG. Freo seeing if he can find anything inside of the Billards. He sees the body who was stunned by those Sophia charges, and Freo, he will now have a free entry in towards the bomb site along with Funkers. Is even just taking the goo mine quite heavily. He has to pull out before he does bite the dust. Kill, however, comes out from Mocka is another one. Will fall from MnM. Diffuser gets planted in the midst of all the action. KS, like we talked about in 90, can easily swing around. Funker's last man left inside of the bomb site. He will make himself known. But no, Funker comes in with a triple kill out of nowhere. And MnM steal that round away from Mocka.
Excellent job to Funkers, holding it down for his team in such an odd position. But I really have to say, that one falls at the feet of Mocka. They had everything going their way. I cannot believe that KS walked from 90 past Funkers into the main bar, then realized his mistake and chose to peek Funkers instead of disabling the diffuser. It was possible that he could stick the diffuser to bait Funkers into a rotation and gain the advantage on his opponent, but KS just kind of gave it away. That bar is not penetrable. He had cover. He just didn't use it.
He could have just pre-fired with the 80 bullets that he had with the Aldo as well.
Or that. I mean,
he should know.
You know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, KS did not get much sleep last night. So that might be something that he's struggling with right now. But I hope it's not going to affect his play too much. Of course, jet lag is a terrible thing for many people. I know it's something that, a common affliction at LAN events.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are kind of feeling the sleep deprivation. I know, and Taro, he was taking a little snooze there in the back of the green room as well earlier.
So. It hit him hard. It hits all of us hard at one event or another.
So let's hopefully that Chaos can wake up. I think that's always the kind of good phrase to use. And can Mocka pull back that very weak round from them? It will be once again that same bomb site, pretty much the same setup. They have the mirror windows there available, and really can. Well, what do you think they need to do different here, Kicks, than what they've just previously done?
Well, I mean, they're in a different bomb site, so that's already, for me, a good decision-making process for Mocka, right? Okay, we didn't do well in games Aviator. It just didn't work out for us. Mocka had the lead early, but changing the bomb site already, that's a step in the right direction. I feel like whenever we see a team lose on a bomb site and they just bash their head against that bomb site over and over and over again, trying to see a new result, I mean, it usually doesn't work out. So I think good decision here from Mocka. I want to see how they're going to set it up. One thing I would say is I want to see more roamers because, and we are seeing that, because the last time Mocka was defending, their roaming presence was laughable. It was a very shallow roam. It was just offsite. Now, it depends on the team you're playing against, but I feel like if you can slow down MnM by roaming deep, then you could have great success. MnM doesn't seem like the sort of team so far from this event that are proficient at clearing out the roamers.
Yeah, I'm liking the kind of setup over towards that Games Room and Aviator, just making sure that not only you're wasting time, which is always the main objective for the roamers, but just wasting utility. And certainly looking at the MnM roster, they have a lot of that. They have Sophia, they have the Capo, they also have Buckwell, not anymore. So that's going to be the needs off the board more importantly. And still you have the ADSs there. We've seen a couple of times where Jaeger wasn't picked this event, which did sometimes come in to kind of affect some teams.
So Rip's gonna take down Prox, and already 3-man advantage for Mocka. They've already taken down Zofia, Capital, and Buck. Impressive that they've not lost a single player in that transaction. Corey has eaten quite a lot of damage, but he's still in fighting form. The question going into this match was, is Doki the Corey Slayer as much as he was the Joystick Slayer? And so far, the answer is no.
Yeah, certainly a big no from him, but see, still early day, still takes his time to try and get warmed up and maybe try and get back into the match.
Only second round.
Yeah, still very early on. And Freo and Nello, who have been a very stable core for this lineup, just in general, they've been great just as those kind of flex support roles, smoke plays as well, very, very big. From both these guys, they kind of flex around it sometimes, but Habana not working too well as KS has the extreme long angle. Alda with the ACOG can really rip into anybody. Oh, nice little shot, but that's all he gets from that as Corey closes it out. And well, Mocka, they pull back the round, and a bit of a lackluster attack from MnM.
Yep, the site change there for Mocka was the right call, and Corey was the one to really stand apart there. His roam by Games Room and Aviator was, I think, what saved it for Mocka. It completely shut down the roam clear from MnM, forcing an adjustment. It decided to, instead of clearing out the roamers, just move over to Master, and that did not work. It was just an easy rotation for Mocka to address the change from MnM. Now, back to Aviator. The question is, will Mach1 be able to change their strategy here and give us something new? Because the last time they went here, it was a successful attack for MnM. And it was really weird how it worked out.
Yeah, it was a position that Funker should never have clutched in, but he did. Looking at Mach1, exact same lineup and what they brought last time. They have the mirror windows to try and, create something that MnM have to deal with. It doesn't give them that same flexibility just to walk into study and let them do their own thing and open up the walls, whatever they want to do. A thing which I find pretty interesting is that why sometimes isn't MnM just taking those kind of operators that are available like a Glaz or like a Ying, which we've seen can be very, very important. Why are you not thinking that, we're not seeing those massive power push operators being shown?
I feel like this is a common trend whenever the super powerful operators aren't banned. Sometimes teams just don't practice with them, so they don't expect to be able to play with them, or they don't have somebody who's proficient with them. Maybe you don't have somebody who really likes to play Glaz, and yeah, I mean, don't force it if it's not necessary. I suppose I definitely agree with you. It would be nice to have a Ying and a Glaz, as you can gain easy advantages. That's why they're such powerful operators. That's why they're banned so frequently. But again, I'm imagining that MnM don't practice with them very often.
Yeah, unless you're, hungry on Penta, who has that Ying capability. We've seen that time and time again from him for his career out of, from his time at 1UP way back when, and, year 3 Invitational, and just continued that, and it's still, teams ban that against him, and he really hasn't been playing it too often because it always is banned by him, and then that's kind of where he falls out of favor sometimes as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where you don't get to what you want all the time, and that's because of that operator ban phase. So even if it isn't a ban, maybe you aren't used to playing it anymore. Doki from below trying to do some damage. He's not going to be able to find any targets just yet, but he's got plenty of skeleton keys left. 11, obviously. Now, there aren't exactly specific locations that you could use that skeleton key from his position to do, or to force the defenders in positions where they aren't going to be as comfortable. I mean, yeah, deal with the bar and the mirror window, but apart from that, you can hold the A-bomb site from the gun vault, you can hold it from the B site. There's a lot of ground for Doki to cover is the point I'm trying to get at here. And as long as Mach1 can avoid death from below, it should be just fine when the actual push comes in. Doki has done some good work, though, at forcing some of these stronger anchor positions to be, I suppose, less playable for the defense. And that's a good job for a buck.
Still no kills on the board, however, for MnM, so it hasn't created any of those gaping holes in the Mach1 defense. Doki also has to be careful that he could get flanked, or even those holes he made himself could be used against him if anybody from Mach1 wants to chance their luck. Exact same way it kind of set up last time for MnM is where they open up this singular hole and try and jumping in through the bar, and already Mach1, they have eliminated not just Doki, but also Prox in the midst of that as well. So down to Freo, Funkers, and Nello. Can they try and salvage anything just like Funkers did last time? Won't be near it this time, however, as KS will get his revenge. Nello will get one, but then a quick refrag from the final two players of MnM will fall as Lazo gets one and KS gets himself two this round. And well, pretty easy round there for Mach1 once again, just like last time.
That round was all KS. Look at him go, just fragging out. So apparently, lack of sleep not really going to affect him too terribly. And KS putting his team up 2-1. Great job to Mach1 holding out there. Doki, here's the thing for me. Doki was downstairs and he opened up a lot, but he didn't do anything with it. He accomplished nothing with that skeleton key, and then eventually he did die to, I believe, Corey, who went on a deep roam and a late one as well. So good job to Mach1 thinking on their feet there and avoiding the damage that the Buck could have brought out. So you called it out, and I guess here it is, the Glaz. Left unbanned, and now will be picked by Nello.
Yeah, MnM are one of those teams, if their original strategy doesn't work, they just go, okay, let's bring an operator that will make a difference. And certainly Glaz will do that if they play him properly. They don't have the support that sometimes we see teams combo Glaz with other operators with smoke canisters like Montagna, like Jackal. Would say Dokkaebi, but she is banned. That's something that I think can work for MnM, but they really need to, I would say, have more of an impact in terms of their hard breach. I would still prefer to see the Thermite over the Hibana. I believe that Thermite can do so much more damage in terms of creating these massive wide holes, and certainly on a map like Villa, just like from the games in Aviator, if you open one of those L walls, that creates a complete cut-off inside of the bomb site. Nobody can rotate in between any of it, and that's something that they certainly were lacking, trying to force their way in through one bomb site and trying to create a chokehold. It's something that we see teams fall into a lot. They want to try and just force their way in without doing any of the setup first. They need to have some kind of pressure towards some of the roamers, because really, letting Chaos sit there at 90 so strong as what he did, that really did let them down for the most part.
Yeah, you definitely need to have some more aggressive plays here, and here we go. An even exchange so far in this round. Mocket's gonna lose KS though to what seems like a lifeline shot from Fonkers. Obviously he doesn't know he's down Diego, but Doki will secure the kill and control over Memorial. Frau will also eliminate Rips, leaving just Lazo in the hallway. The coach cannot hack it, and Doki takes him down. MnM will take their second round, evening us out to 2-2.
Well, that was certainly one of our more quicker rounds that we've had inside of this series, and like we've seen, Glaz just kind of caused a bit of confusion there for Mocket. They just kind of all tried to rush back and tried to stop the Glaz pushing in as much as they could, but then, you know, the quick gun skill that still, you have to remember, Doki has that available for himself. We've seen him do that against Empire, and yeah, here we go. He's starting to work his way into it, trying to get a couple of kills here or there, and once he gets morale behind him, that's whenever things start to look scary. So moving into, yet again, another Mocket defense already. 4 rounds for the defense gone, and only 2 more left, and it will be a Trophy Room and Statuary Room. This was certainly one of Mocket's more comfortable rounds that we've seen them have. It was very easy, you know, angles being held most of the time by Mocket, and just MnM just running through them.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that if Mocket cannot get these last 2 rounds, I feel like they're going to be in a really bad position. We've talked about how in the past, Villa is definitely a very defender-sided map as of late. And you know, in the SSG versus Lestream match, we only saw, I believe, 5 attacking victories across a pretty long match. So it was actually, I believe, 14 rounds total. So you really need to be winning those defensive rounds. Mocket should be able to salvage these last 2, and if they're not, it will be a struggle when they transition onto attack. But all said, it's not over yet. Still barely into this match, just the 4 rounds. As you stated, we still have 2 more in the first half.
Still plenty of time to go. We're only really just getting things started here at DreamHack Winter. And certainly MnM have been a team which has kind of surprised us. I would pitch them and Trust to kind of be on the same level. I think that they've had really no admiration moving into it. They weren't expecting to do as well as what both the teams have done. Trust certainly pushing their luck a lot more, and they are actually playing Liquid in the decider match as well. So we're going to have a rematch that's off stream, but of course we will try and update you with that score as much as we can. KS, once again, on the Maestro, has been really liking this operator, like a lot of players do. I think he is one of those better operators in Siege. That's why we see him being quite a comfortable ban for a lot of the teams. It's really, do you want to ban Maestro or do you want to ban Echo? Glaz will snag that kill, a very strong one, and certainly that's the power that he brings with that OTS rifle. Can really mill anybody with that nice RPM that Glaz does have. And of course, whenever you have that Overwatch capability of just seeing anybody through the smoke just like that, that was a double kill from Nello. What?
3 for Nello in the round. Rips and Corey will fight back, but what would be a collateral if it were possible? Impressive there for Nello. And he could get the ace to win this out if Fonkers can't accomplish anything. Corey and Rips still on site, though. Just barely, though. They are playing at the far end of B, possibly in the entry hallway. It's pretty off-site, actually, leaving the site exposed. But the diffuser is down. Nello's going to have to retrieve it. He'll finally pick that up. Rips playing the long angle from the main hallway, looking for a fight. Nello will drone him out. Question is, will he be able to land the shots as he has been thus far? Rips knows he's on defense, knows he just needs to take it nice and slow, and he will do just that, waiting patiently for the push to come. Luckily for MnM, they've got plenty of time to make this work, and sounds like there's a lot of information. That's 1 for Fonkers, and oh no, Nello cannot get the 4th. Fonkers will have to get 2, and MnM will take the round.
There we go, the power of the Glaz. We've seen that come in so big, and still Fonkers Well, a lot of you guys have been saying he is bonkers, and that's certainly what he's living up to. And like you said earlier, this is where you start to worry if you are Mocket. You have now lost that round, which now you can only tie with your defense to attack ratio. This is where they need this round. If they go 4-2 up, MnM then have that advantage because it is a very defender-sided map. That's going to be Map1 then, in theory, to MnM. And then Mocket really have to work their, so much more harder to physically get back into the running, because then their heads will start to drop. We know that Mocket have had morale issues in the past. If they start having those issues, I don't really know where Mocket can go from there.
Yeah. You could say it's calling it too early because it is still very early in this map, but you really do want to be winning your defensive halves on Villa. And the fact that MnM have managed to take 3 rounds away from Mocket while on attack, it's not a good start for Mocket. It really isn't. And that's definitely going to give MnM a lot of momentum moving into their second half. Now, they will be bringing the Glaz again. And if you watch the last round, I think Glaz was the sole reason that MnM was able to clean that up nice and easy. Because, it came down to a 2-on-2 despite Nello doing so much damage early on. And I have to imagine if there weren't a Glaz, we might not have seen it go MnM's way. So a huge tool that MnM will be able to use here. And you got to imagine if they were using it earlier in the match, maybe this would be a much more dominant match for MnM. But it's still anyone's game because they picked it up late.
So we'll be back to that Aviran games room, and once again, the exact same setup from Mocket, an exact carbon copy of what they've done every single time. And this is where, what will MnM do? They have decided to substitute out that buck, which wasn't doing anything. Doki, sure, you're opening up holes, but you're not getting anything from that. It's not a real pain for Mocket. They can just move their position. There's a lot of areas inside of the bar and that vault area. A lot of positions you can just shift over an inch and you're safe again, and you can still sit in the exact same angle, hold the exact same positions. There is one thing that I believe they've done differently, and that's have the other mirror window now set up on that L wall also, so they have both of them compared to just the one that they've had previously.
You see Funker's a little bit too cautious there. Lazo will take down Nello as he attempts to peek through his own smokes. The Evil Eye was calling out through that smoke, allowing for the kill to happen. Rips will also eliminate Doki, and it's just complete carnage here in favor of Mocket as MnM oh no! No, Funkers! He ate a lot of damage from Rips and did the final piece of damage to himself. MnM have found themselves in a bad spot. Corey from behind will get a double kill, and Mocket wins the last round of the first half, evening it out to 3-on-3.
Yeah, that's Funkers.
Big whoops.
I believe there's a certain letter that I believe that you press on your keyboard to signify what's just happened. Am I right in that, yeah?
Press F to pay respects.
There you go, guys. Need for Funkers. We'll see if he can maybe not do that again, because that was not very good indeed. And this is where Mocket now have their attacks. Can they try and push their way in and really eliminate a lot of the factors that MnM have shown against Empire? They've been very good. Nello and that smoke has been a big standout for that team. If you can keep that morale moving, then yes, certainly the defense will be a lot more of an easier hold. We've seen that so many times that a team which has a very strong smoke has much more of a better chance winning, because as a smoke player, not only do you have the shotgun and the SMG, which can really melt, but it's all about timing your gas canisters. That kind of determines if you're a good smoke player and a mediocre smoke player.
Yeah, smoke has been since the dawn of time, well, dawn of Siege's time, I suppose, been one of the most influential defensive operators, and he really is a high skill ceiling type of operator. While he has a lot of raw power, not everybody is good at harnessing it. Now, MnM, first defense will be going to Kitchen, a little bit different there, and it looks like we actually saw a stim pistol used there by the dock. I'm not entirely sure who was on, but it must have been some damage from an impact grenade from Frau or something, or Funkers actually. But yeah, kind of wasted utility there. Any damage that's done to your teammates, it's unfortunate. Luckily, you have the dock, so you can get it back.
Still better than a team kill, though. Which we did see a couple of them in the last match as well.
I think we saw some from MnM, actually, the last time they played even. I want to say in the Empire match when they were on, when they were on Consulate. It was actually the first, I think it was the first match of the tournament.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was Fonkers killed Doki. It was Fonkers killing Doki. So yeah, it's better than that.
And then also the last match between Imps and Liquids, we've seen 2 TKs in 1 round in the space of 5 seconds as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, that was certainly one for the highlights as well. So moving on in, this is only going to be the kind of first bit of movement.
Oh, no.
Wow, the long angle being held that was opened by Baka himself. That's a really strong angle to play, and I'm surprised that wasn't called out.
Yeah, I was about to say the same exact thing. How did MnM not call that? And if they did, how did Doki not figure it out? Oh man, it is obvious. You know, once that gets opened up, it's like, hey guys, don't rotate in kitchen. You'll die.
Just your typical Ash Jaeger, you know?
Yeah, I suppose. A huge mistake there from Doki or the team. We don't know which, because we don't know what's going on in their comms, but either way, big whoops.
So Nello does have a very aggressive position. This is one of the more common positions that we see. Smoke players can, of course, stall out the round over towards the painting room or just where the laundry is, and that shotgun in those close ranges can do a lot of damage. And behind this couch, we have seen so many smokes just pop up, get a quick double kill. It's happened before. He is going to try and get pressured as well from above. A very smart thing from Mocket. They know where he is, and you can see Nello, he's thrown his smoke canisters. That means he is starting to panic, and there you go, rips. He's from above. Snags that kill into the smoke and gives Mock a big advantage going into the minute mark, and with still an extra 30 seconds at least just to do their final bit of prep, get the drones in, figure out where these final remaining members are. This should be a pretty easy collapse from Mock.
That was poor positioning from Nello, I gotta be honest. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't describe that as good smoke play. Baka will also take down Fonkers, and in the hallway, Frau missing an opportunity. Prox is actually going to be the one to get that kill onto Corey. The push coming in from the side entrance, and Mocket going to try for their defuse plan. They will get it. Frau sees his opponent, will land the shots, but eats a lot of damage in return from Lazo. Great job to at least do something before he died off. Prox from behind will eliminate Baka coming up from below. He is the dock, and he can heal himself up, but he's not going to. He's actually going to push into sight. Not a great decision here. I know you're rushed because of the diffuser plant, but Rips will finish you off so easily because you had 2 stims and you didn't use them. Great job there to Mocket isolating the site, just a corner, getting the diffuse plant and holding on firm.
So that's Mocket just showing them what really Mock are about in terms of their attacks. Very coordinated. They try and get the early picks, which exactly they did, and they're using that vertical game. We know that Villa does have a bit of that. Not as much compared to other maps that we see. Border being used a lot more in terms of verticality heavily, but certainly Rips making good use of that, and it shows that you only need to make 1 or 2 holes just to have those kind of strong sight lines. You don't need the full destruction with the sledge or the buck, for example. So he's made good use of that. Moving into MnM, they will be going for an upstairs defense rather than that first floor that they've went for, and instead of sticking with the mirror, they are going to be sick picking the mute for a little bit of drone denial, which certainly Mocket do use.
I gotta be honest, the mirror windows don't seem to have been doing much so far throughout this match. It's not, and I don't mean just in terms of kills, I mean also by control. So a mirror window can do a lot for your team in terms of information and control. It doesn't necessarily need to net you any kills. It can deny, for example, if you're defending Aviator, study. Just 2 mirror windows facing into study can be all you need to deny that to the attackers. But it doesn't seem to be anything that either team have really been struggling with all that much. I mean, mirror windows are very well understood by everybody. You know, it's not like something new and surprising that you're going to have to struggle with. If there's a mirror window somewhere and you don't have the tools to deal with it, everybody knows, okay, just adjust a little bit, go somewhere else. And I don't know. We've seen her fall out of favor a little bit as of late. Not that much because she's still so powerful. My gosh, she's always going to be as powerful as long as she stays how she is. But she's a little bit more predictable, given people understand her now. And we see her play less because of that.
It kind of comes back to that point where you talked about that we don't see Glaz and Yang, even though they are available, because teams don't practice. Teams don't practice with Mira anymore because it's typically always going to be banned. So it kind of fits under that same point that we talked about earlier. So moving into Maka in their first attacking phase for this top floor. Doki will be the lone roamer inside of the Aviator, trying to fight 3 angles at once. Manages to pick out one, a very aggressive peek from Doki, but makes work. But however, the wallbang comes in, and that's a quick, easy cleanup for Rips on the Sophia. Nello also playing aggressive, seeing if he can find any refrags for himself. Just tries to push his way in and doesn't really find anything. Maka are just holding firm. They want to know if anybody else will be lurking around that bar area. And, well, Nello gets just too frisky for himself and will pay the ultimate price with a death for his team. Prox also in the roam game. A lot of these roamers coming out on the side of MnM and not really doing anything at the moment.
Yeah, speaking of, Fonker's going to go down. Another one of those roamers. Fox looking for the angle. He will find it. Lazo goes down, but he's already done quite a lot of damage. It would be nice to have the Jackal to hunt down Prox right now, but Mocket's still very much in the driver's seat. Rips is on actually 1 HP, so that's unfortunate for him. Baka also has taken a lot of damage. MnM still, because of that, in a good spot. You've got 2 players who will die to 1 bullet or 2, and that's pretty comfortable, pretty easy to deal with. Though KS is still on full HP, and he is not to be trifled with.
Ripsy has been reset back up to 50 HP, so certainly this is looking better for Maka, and because they have disrupted that roam game that MnM went for, very easy rotate over towards the master bedroom, trying to go for that more standard push that we see time and time again, over towards a bomb site. Prox, that has now cut off his rotation. He's going to either have to make the risky play and try and go for the run across, but could lose his life in the meantime. Certainly Freo, he's in a very strong position, has the Alda. We know can put down so many rounds per minute, can melt anybody. We've seen this over the course of the weekend. SSG very, very strong with a Maestro in their capability. Can MnM do the same? 20 seconds to go. I'm sure the utility will be shot by Rips unless he's already used that for that roam hunt. Goo Mines as well will be a bit of a sound cue for Prox and Freo. 10 seconds, Plant will have to go down. Prox, he takes the fight and wins it against Baka. 2 versus 2. Plant, however, will be established at the doorway. Another kill for Prox, and Freo cleans up as well. MnM stealing that round yet again away from Maka.
Great job to Prox there, and now we've evened back up 4-4. This seems to be a pretty back and forth match so far, and I gotta be honest, we haven't had many one-sided matches in this entire tournament. It seems to have been an absolute slog, so for every team. Now, it's a tactical pause, and it's going to be MnM's to try and, you know, push forward for that lead after winning that round. I think this is a good moment.
Yeah, certainly this stage where they have that advantage. They know that just cool heads, calm themselves. They're probably getting a little bit excited. They think, oh, maybe we could steal this map away from them. We can maybe try and take this, and who knows, we could be on the verge of another Trust Gaming versus Liquid scenario. Still, 2 more maps to go, you know, in a best-of-3 series if it gets that far. And certainly, looking at the way MnM have played, they are seeming a lot more confident. They're taking the gunfights, which is something I think is more importantly. Some teams do play a little bit scared. Talking to Trust Gaming yesterday, their first map, they said, yeah, we were scared to take gunfights. And then all of a sudden, Quadzy, he started picking up all the kills, and then everybody else kind of joined in. Seeming though that, you know, Prox, he is kind of being that kind of light in the darkness to try and show the way for his team, just to say, you know what, we can outfrag anybody on our day, and certainly it seems to be the case this time.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said when you're on a team and one of your teammates starts stepping up, doing better than you expect them to be capable of. I mean, it really enables you mentally to meet that standard. But yeah, good moment again for the timeout for MnM. Being able to call that tactical pause is going to solidify their momentum, I believe. And we'll see if that stays true as we go back into the match. Aviator, again for... Actually, not again, correction. For the first time from MnM, as this is only their 3rd round on the defensive half.
So what will they do for this defense? No mirror window, which they're not going to try and force to play. Certainly Mocket, they did pick the mirror just for this bomb site because it kind of makes the attackers work a little bit harder. I do like that Mock are bringing both hard breach. It's a very strong thing on Villa where you have those destructible walls. You can use them not just on the study walls, but also potentially that single one in the vault has been something that teams do like to target. If teams want to try and push from the back and then rotate and go for study, which we have seen split pushes before, a very small bomb site, like the games in Aviator, that can be pretty strong for the attacking team, but they have to do a lot of steps first to do that. First of all, room clear out is always going to be #1 for the attackers, and the way that MnM have played, we've seen the room game, we've seen the late rotates as well. Certainly, Market, they have some operators who are good for room clear out. They have Sophia, who has those stun grenades that can be used, but certainly they're not taking that Jackal that they did before, which, sure, Jackal, he's good, but if it's not working and you don't really see the value, then yeah, maybe just take somebody else who you know you can get clear-cut value out of. Maybe that's why they're taking the Twitch, because they think they can get value out of Mira Windows, but it's not going to be brung by MnM.
Yeah, Lazo playing Ashe instead of Jackal. I mean, it's putting more emphasis on the frag, less emphasis on the utility. And I mean, that's been a trend for a long time now. I feel like the last few months seems like teams are leaning back towards Ashe. I mean, for a long time, Ashe was barely played. And now she's managed to find her way back into the forefront. Not surprising. She's always been good, but yeah, she's just back to being the staple pick that she once was. Now, Market have already established control on the north side. They will take down Brox. Corey just walking in through study. How does he get away with it? You should not be able to just walk into the B bomb site and get a kill like that. It's not a good start for MnM, and it's going to be made even worse as Rips eliminates Fonkers. Doki looking to even things out, will peek wildly into the hallway and die, or not quite, as it just looks like Lazo not aware he is down Doki. Quick reminder, if you're not familiar with CG Sports, you cannot tell if your teammate or your enemy has been down unless you see it. There's no point notifiers. Nello and Corey get their own kills, and Corey with the double, Lazo with the final, finishing off Doki, and it's going to be Market taking another round on their attacking half, going to 5-4.
They just let them walk in and do their thing.
Yeah.
That should never happen. You need some disruption there. You need to have room clear out. And I'm quite surprised that whenever they knew that back push was going to come in from the master side, why are people not going straight downstairs and trying to rotate up the staircases? You have two there. You have the globe, and you also have the main stairs, which can be used as an angle to try and stop the attackers pushing in through that L corridor. Very questionable things there from MnM, and really as easy as you like, Market, they take that round, and it puts them into that lead at 5-4. And only 2 more rounds for Market, and they can certainly take this victory on Villa. But will MnM have anything to say about that as they move into their kitchen defense once, yet again, Market, they had really no trouble doing this attack. They had the control from upstairs. There was no room game from MnM last time towards the bathroom or that master side. And Market, they just went in, they thermite it, and they went for the plant as easy as you like. MnM, they are going to be bringing that dock, which probably, if they brought it last time, that could have managed to get Doki out, which could have maybe changed things a little, but looking at it, dock did nothing for them last time.
Yeah.
10 seconds to go.
And that last round, I mean, you said it, they thermited the wall, right? And they did, yeah, but honestly, it didn't even seem like they needed to. Market just walked in.
Yeah.
And that's so... There's so little to say about that, right? And it's just, MnM weren't covering their defaults, and that needs to happen, obviously. So hopefully they'll be able to shore that up as they go to kitchen. And as you said, they've brought a dock. Definitely a good operator in the right hands. I don't feel like there's too much potential. It's not like a smoke, but there's a lot you can do with a dock if given the opportunity. But it's not necessarily something that you could dictate like you can with smoke. It's not like you can cover a lane. It's more like if the situation arises, you might be useful. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
A bomb has been located.
There's a part of me that would have liked to see a bandit being chosen for this bomb site, because you can get some pretty nifty bandit tricks, not only on that single wall that we did know that Bakahi decided to Hibana, that could have been pretty catchy, or even just on the double wall. We've seen bandit tricks come down there, and it makes the attackers have to work a lot harder. You have to take control of upstairs even more so to extend yourself in towards the master to get rid of that bandit charge. And if then MnM kind of played into that and had the room game, then yeah, things like that could have worked out for them. Already, the frags start flying as Nello, he picks up one before getting refragged on by Rips in the exact same position he was last time.
Yeah, Nello caught out of position there a little bit too much, and Rip's gonna eat some damage. Just the single bullet, though.
Proc still with the dock. He can play these very long angles. You can see the setup that they've done over towards the living room, and certainly you can see Mocket trying to fight those angles as well. We know the Mocket, they have some very strong fraggers. Every single one of them can do magic whenever they have that rolling with themselves. And Proc's also taking a bit of damage, but this is where he can finally use those stim pistols to good effect. So he has learned from his mistakes, but can he get the kills that he needs to? If you're going to play the dock, you have the MP5. We know how much that can do in terms of fragging potential, but he needs to show it.
I really like the roaming position that Prox has been playing, but look at this. Diffuser being planted, and there's nothing happening to stop it on MnM's side. Corey will take down Fonkers, and that's a huge blunder from MnM, allowing that to happen, and further allowing Lazo to walk out of sight after planting the diffuser. Rips takes down Frau, Doki fights back, and I mean, Mocket in a great position, and they're near to match point. Lazo is on low HP, but it's not seemingly gonna matter as Baka and Corey clean up the last 2 kills. And Mocket, indeed, match point, 6-4 their favor.
They are just walking into bomb site.
Yeah, that was the same as the last round where MnM were just not covering defaults.
Do they have barbed wire?
I think, yeah, they did, because Lazo, when he was walking out slow.
I think they didn't have it for the top floor defense on the games room. There was no barbed wire at that single door leading into billiards.
I mean, maybe not upstairs in the last round, but in that round, yeah, Lazo was walking through barbed wire.
Still.
Yeah, I mean,
and he walked back through it as well.
It's not about the barbed wire. It's about who is watching this.
Where's the Goo mines? Where's the Grismont mines? That's maybe what they need. Is some Grismonts.
Where's the evil eyes? You know, like what is it that you're missing? That's just a body maybe staring at the doorway as per usual. MnM have lost 2 rounds in a row simply because they're not watching for a diffuse plant, which is, well, okay, that one was because of the diffuse plant. Other rounds, it's just because people are walking into sight, fragging them. All said and done, though, MnM needs to be a little bit more vigilant.
So they will be going back to that statuary room. Last time, it was a clutch by Prox. He played very well, very aggressive on the mute. He kind of had that late rotate coming up in towards being stairs, caught some players by Mocket by surprise, and then fair play to Freo and himself. They won that 3 versus 2 quite comfortably. I think Mocket just kind of ran out of time. They kind of panicked and they thought, okay, let's all walk through one door and hope for the best. Didn't work for them as the angles were being held, and that's something that is a bit of a risky one. If you want to try and push in and plant right beside single door, you have to worry about somebody shooting you across from the other side of the bomb site. We've seen so many times that kind of head glitch position behind the bomb, and certainly Freo, he was playing that. He had the Maestro, had the ACOG, very simple cleanup job. Looking at Mocket, still the exact same lineup that they brought every single time. A different one this time for MnM is Valkyrie being brought to the table.
Valkyrie definitely a formidable operator, though. I mean, it really depends on how vigilant the enemy team is. I think that this is the right call for MnM, though. What have we been talking about for the last 2 rounds? The mistake that MnM have been making, they don't have enough information. And what does Valkyrie excel at? Gathering that information. So, good job to MnM seeing the problem and trying to solve it. I will say though, MnM are roaming once more by Aviator and Games Room. That didn't work out last time, and it's very dangerous that they're committing to this again. Doki did some damage, but ultimately they lost the roam. So, as Nello starts feeling the pressure from the south balcony, he's gonna put some pre-fire down, but not land any of those shots, and his position here is looking quite exposed.
Yeah, last time MnM, they brought the castle to the table. I think they had it kind of set up in towards the kind of that kind of L area, the castle off the barricade. Didn't work because simply Mocket just walked in through the one door and kind of eliminated castle very early on. And Nello, he kind of rotated his way in through the 90 and gets himself that kill onto the Habana. Hard breach off the board, but as we know, Mocket, they like the double hard breach. Always good bit of safety to bring both of them and can still make this play work. There's the bandit that I was talking about that can kind of be sneaky. Really haven't brought that bandit all too often, and certainly that can make good use of that. You can catch somebody by surprise, and looking at Mocket, they have really no intention of going below or, you know, opening up to try and stop the bandit trick, and this could catch out Lazo if things do start to go south, and there goes the exothermic charge, but it will go away as the bandit trick will be successful, and that sets up MnM pretty nicely a minute to go, and this is where Mocket kind of start to panic. They haven't made really any good headway in, and with a minute to go, they're just going to try and rush this.
Lazo, I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here. That's to counter the impact tricks, but There is no impact trick happening right now. So I'm not sure. Maybe he was trying to fake it out to get the battery on the wall so that the EMP could destroy it, because they know there's only one battery left. He just needs to commit, though. Obviously, he doesn't know this, but he really just needs to commit. There is no bandit tricking right now. There is Doki on the other side of the wall, but he doesn't have batteries, and he will actually take down Rips. The wall finally gets opened up, but it looks like, no, not nearly a second for Doki. Goes out with a pistol, but Corey will take him down. KS also eliminates Honkers, so Mach are back in this. They've got the wall open, they've got the control they need, and Prox from the side taking down Corey will actually put his team in a better spot. Prox also gets Lazo after he plants the diffuser. It's all on KS to hold on to this diffuse plant, but he's in a good position to do just that. 50 HP, and he knows he's being flanked, but he eats some bullets from Prox, and he will be finished off from the Valkyrie. A great job to Prox, pushing through bathroom and getting a triple kill, and he will be able to disable that diffuser. MnM keep themselves alive. We go to 5-6, still Mocket's favor.
There you go, the panic coming in from Mocket. They just ran out of time in the end, and just the angles being held, the good rotates, I think, was great positioning from Prox there in the bathroom. Knew that if the plant goes down, he's going to run straight out that doorway as well. So good stuff from them. They pull themselves back into it. Still match point, however, for Mocket. Only one more round for them if they can close this out, and then we move away from Villa. Still, another round, if MnM can do this, they take it to overtime, and that just completely resets the clock. Anything can happen there in that scenario. Looking at the kills, 14 kills for Corey. Rick, I wouldn't say surprised.
No, surprised definitely not the word. Impressed is a good word, but it's not surprised, because Corey, as we all know, one of those more prominent fraggers in the European region, and definitely stands out for that reason, doing his job.
He had a shaky time at Paris. I know that he did kind of have his first land jitters, and then that kind of split. Then he got moved into Orgulus. He then started kind of picking up a bit of pace.
I wouldn't say that Corey is amazingly consistent, but when Corey is really awake, wide-eyed, and fragging, there's little that can stop him. And that's what really always impresses me about his play. It reminds me of like Hot and Cold, for example. His name really describes his style of play. When Hot and Cold is hot, he's unstoppable. When he's cold, he's having an average game, but he will always put in work.
Yeah, we see that with a lot of players. They'll either have the best game of their lives, or they're just not there.
Well, no, I'm not saying not there. I'm saying, you know, Corey, Houghton, if they're just not popping off, then yeah, okay, they'll still put in work. It's just not that amazing frag potential that we're used to seeing from them. And more often than not, Corey is definitely wide awake and contributing quite a lot of frags to the team. And this is another example of that being the case. And see if he can continue that. He only needs to do it for one more round if he wants to win this match outright. But there's still potential for overtime from MnM.
MnM, they will be picking back up that mute once again, which Proxy has got a couple of frags. He's really just been flexing his role in between these defenses, and certainly Mocket not flexing really at all. It's been the exact same 5 lineup, except only for the first round they had, where they brought the Jackal, and I think a Twitch was brought in there a couple of times as well. But for the last 3 rounds, it has been this exact same attacking lineup. Baga playing on the Hibana, seeing if he can maybe try and get his X-Kairoses in that kind of, that Maverick role we were talking about, where he's kind of that lone attacker and trying to catch people by surprise. Corey, he will once again continue his reign of terror, as that will be the bandit off the board. A quick refrag, and KS gone. He's actually going to be on that Ash. He was on, I'm kind of expecting KS to kind of be that Fermat guy, but no, he's just completely switched his role.
Yeah, we saw Lazo playing Ash earlier, and now it's KS. The role swapping on Mocket is troubling. They haven't been able to do much this round so far, apart from Corey, and that's again something we've been, as you stated, you know, the reign of terror. We've been seeing Corey really perform quite a lot so far, so that's not surprising. Rip's also going to take down Doki. That's really good. Doki, the top performer for MnM most of the time, so having him gone is great. Prox, another one of those top performers, will be taken down by Corey. And MnM not looking like they're in a good position. Nello will fight back, but Lazo shuts him down, and it's just Frau by Billiards. And he hears the marks, he sees them, knows the plant is going down, has the calls, but it's not gonna matter. Baka will finish him off, and Mocket will take the first map of this series. 7